he should have took the fight with me way back then, because if he had a chance to beat me, it would have been back then. He has no chance of beating me now, especially now. I'm getting all this, I'm getting all this confidence. You know, I'm stepping into my prime. You know, I'm able to deal with these bigger shows better. You know what I mean? I'm able to thrive in these shows. I'm able to, every time I fight, I'm always winning by a significant amount. You know what I mean? So I'm learning my craft better and better each and every single fight. I'm gaining more confidence every single fight, and like I said, I really want to go in there and hurt people. I'm not a boxer. I'm a warrior, and I go in there, I tell everybody.
DavidBenavidez unleashed a furious blast at Canelo Alvarez, insisting the superstar is scared and that his decision to avoid the fight proves he has no faith in his own abilities.
The way I've seen him handle my presence is he's definitely scared of me. You know, if you have a fighter talking so much trash in front of you, why don't you make an example of him to the world? Beat me in the ring and make a whole lot of money. But Canelo Alvarez, as you can see from every time he fights a guy that's big with power, like Bivol, you know what I mean? And he's not able to suppress these fighters as much as he's able to suppress the little fighters. You know what I mean? So he sees a lot of things in me that he can't stop.
Benavidez cast doubt on Canelo's willingness to pursue the fight, suggesting prolonged delays speak louder than public statements. He remains convinced the matchup hasn't materialized because he believes he holds the advantage once they finally share the ring.
It's been really frustrating, to be honest with you. It's like, the way I could describe it to people, like, you're about to get this promotion at your job, and you know you're the best for the job and you could take over. And I've been there for the past 3 years, and honestly, this fight, it makes the sense, and, you know, pay-per-view, you know, as for the people, what they want to see as well. So, you know, it's good for the sport, but, you know, I can't say Canelo's 100% confident in himself because he would have took the fight already. You know what I mean? I'm 100% confident in myself. So, yeah, that's why this fight's not happening, you know, because he knows I'm going to beat his ass.
Canelo believes the right time for a fight with Benavidez has already passed. He argues the matchup made far more sense earlier in their careers, but insists the timing and circumstances are no longer the same.
Now is Benavidez, but he's a heavyweight. He's a heavyweight fighting in 175 or no, cruiserweight or something. But he's a heavyweight. It's not fair.
What a fight that would have been, maybe a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Was it ever close?
When I turn undisputed,
yeah.
If he will be a champion at that point, that's the correct time to do the fight. But he wasn't, and he was fighting in 168 at that point, but he wasn't a champion. So, but that was, I think, the perfect moment to do it.
Was it ever close or no?
Reflecting on the situation, Benavidez believes there was never a legitimate obstacle preventing a fight with Canelo. He argues the matchup had all the ingredients to become one of boxing's biggest events, leaving him convinced the lack of progress came down to Canelo's reluctance to pursue it.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, the way I had to think about it, I thought that fight had already slipped away. You know, Canelo didn't show no signs of wanting to fight. That's definitely a fight that all the people wanted, and it's a fight that made sense on both parts. You know, sometimes when a fight isn't made is because the money isn't right or, you know, things are right. But, you know, everything was there. You know, the money was there. People wanted to see it. It would have been one of the greatest fights of all time. And because it didn't happen already, you know, I kind of knew that it wasn't really going to happen, or I felt like Canelo didn't want the fight to happen.
From Benavidez's perspective, he believes Canelo's reluctance to face him goes beyond business and may be rooted in personal differences. That belief continues to shape how he views the long-running rivalry.
So, I mean, that's another reason why I feel like Canelo hasn't fought me. Because of that.
Blast off.
Because then I feel like he just doesn't like me as a person, where he doesn't want to, it's not like he's putting me on, but he'll really be putting me on just by fighting me.
Right. Absolutely. Right. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. That's honest.
You think it's like a Mexican thing?
I don't know what it is. It might be. It might be, but I don't know.
But that's been the excuse for it recently, that it's to... Because you're Mexican, he doesn't want to...
But he said that he didn't want to fight another Mexican.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to do me dirty, and then he goes and fights another Mexican.
That perspective is shared by Andre Ward, who believes Benavidez still carries frustration over never getting the opportunity to face Canelo. He suggests Canelo made a calculated decision to stay away from that stylistic matchup rather than pursue it, leaving the long-discussed fight no closer to becoming reality. For Ward, the rivalry may remain one of boxing's biggest unanswered questions.
Question now for David Benavidez is, what's next? and Canelo Alvarez was in the building supporting his stablemate, Jaime Munguia, and I guess Benavidez just had to do it. He had to mention Canelo. He feels a way and that Canelo hasn't fought him throughout the years. He's been calling for Canelo for many, many years. And it's hard to say that a man who's put in as many professional rounds as Canelo Alvarez is scared of another man. But I do think that Canelo Alvarez has made a very conscious decision throughout the years to avoid Benavidez from a stylistic standpoint. Now, if you call that a duck, you call that being scared, you know, that's your business. But strategically, he made that business decision to say, I don't need to be in the ring with this dude. And Benavidez feels a certain type of way about that. So I think he just had to get that off his chest after putting on a performance that he just put on with Ramirez. But that's not a fight that's going to happen.
No, it's not. It shouldn't.
Not everyone agrees. However, Teddy Atlas doesn't believe Canelo is avoiding the fight out of fear. He argues that at this stage of Canelo's career, the matchup simply no longer makes strategic sense. For Atlas, that reality explains why the fight remains unlikely.
I would be concerned. That's a real concern. I would be concerned about that, but I would be even more concerned, much more concerned, if he even thought about then going down to chase Canelo to make the fight, if that was even possible. Canelo, I don't think, is looking for that fight. Not because he's afraid. I don't think he needs it right now at this stage in his career. At where he is, the age he is, he's getting a little longer in the tooth. I don't think it makes sense from that standpoint.
Pauline Malignaggi sees it differently. He maintains that Canelo was never genuinely committed to a fight with Benavidez. He argues that the prolonged delays consistently pointed in the same direction rather than bringing the matchup any closer. For Malignaggi, the outcome simply confirmed a belief he had held for years, that the fight was never truly part of Canelo's plans.
That was another thing. When I talk about, people don't like what I'm saying, but I'm always right. That was another thing. I said years ago Canelo was never going to fight Benavidez. He was making all the excuses in the book, and all his groupie fans were getting angry at me for saying that he was never going to fight him because he was making excuses and they were thinking he was going to fight him later or something like that. And I basically went out on a limb and said, I wasn't really going out on a limb. It was stating the obvious. Like, this guy is just taking you for a ride. He's never going to fight Benavidez. Never going to fight Benavidez. And sure enough, as usual, I was right. But
even so, Roy Jones Jr. urges Benavidez to move on from the Canelo pursuit and focus entirely on a fight with Usyk. He argues that no other opponent offers the same significance at this stage of Benavidez's career. For Jones, that opportunity is simply too important to let slip away.
If Canelo not fighting you, forget about everybody else. Go straight to Usyk. Don't play with nobody else. All right? Anything else can taint the Usyk fight. The Usyk fight is one of the biggest fights of this decade right now. Take it while it's hot. Don't play with him, and don't let him play with you. And that's my words to DavidBenavidez, because I know he listens to me. He looks up to me, thinks a lot of me. I'm going to tell him it's okay to say, no, Patai, you haven't proven yourself right now. I want somebody who's proven like I am. I want Usyk. That's what he should do, without a question.
Additionally, Doug Fisher suggests that the stylistic challenges Benavidez posed may have been a major reason the fight never materialized. He believes the matchup offered a difficult tactical puzzle, making it one Canelo was never eager to pursue.
My point to styles, though. So Canelo looked at Kovalev and Bivol and thought, I can beat these guys. Yeah. But he looked at Benavidez, and he's like, no, style-wise, this guy's all wrong. Right. It's too much. It's suffocating pressure, and it's the volume. And this kid has so much heart, such a chip on his shoulder. Even if I hurt him, he ain't gonna go away.
And also, if he's gonna lose, if he's gonna lose to a Mexican or Mexican-American fighter, I think Canelo maybe had the thought, maybe at the end of my career. Right. But that's not here yet.
Timothy Bradley goes a step further. He argues that Benavidez has done everything necessary to earn a fight with Canelo. He believes the continued absence of the matchup reflects Canelo's own doubts about the challenge rather than anything Benavidez has failed to accomplish. For Bradley, that remains the biggest obstacle standing between boxing fans and one of the sport's most anticipated fights.
Benavidez has been worthy and he's been working his butt off to be able to earn the fight, to be able to face you. However, you don't want to face him because I don't think Canelo believes that he can win the fight. So that's my opinion.
Even though you've always picked him to win the fight.
Look, man, I still think he does. However, he don't believe that. That's the reason why he's not stepping foot in the ring with him.
That sentiment is echoed by Jose Benavidez Sr., who believes Benavidez now holds a clear advantage over Canelo. While acknowledging Canelo's remarkable accomplishments and lasting legacy, he argues that David's youth, size, and relentless style have shifted the balance in his favor. For Jose, those qualities would make Benavidez an exceptionally difficult challenge at this stage of Canelo's career.
Let's be realistic. Canelo's legs are not the same. You know, my respect to Canelo, he's done so much for boxing. It will be really hard to do what he has accomplished. At the end of the day, my respect, but David right now will send him to the hospital. To be honest, young, strong, motivated.
Robert Garcia reaches a similar conclusion, believing the balance has shifted in Benavidez's favor. He argues that the physical dynamics of the fight now present a far greater challenge for Canelo than they once did. While Canelo's place among boxing's all-time greats leaves him with little incentive to take that risk, Garcia believes those factors make the long-discussed showdown increasingly unlikely to happen.
Do you want to see Canelo and Benavidez fight?
Nah.
Why not?
It's past.
It had its window, and that window is closed. Two different weight classes. One's 200 pounds. It doesn't.
I think nowadays, Benavidez.
Why?
It's a big difference now in weight, plus that speed. But Canelo doesn't have that speed anymore. I think maybe a few years back,
On a smaller weight, smaller weight.
Okay, what's different, right? They don't even fight. Plus, Canelo was never even going to give Benavidez that chance to, you know, because Canelo accomplished everything. Canelo has accomplished more than any other Mexican. He doesn't need to prove nobody anything. So he's got pride also. Fuck them, they talk shit, never going to give him an opportunity. But now, yeah, fuck.
Even with those concerns, Roy Jones Jr. views a potential Canelo versus Benavidez fight as far more competitive than many assume. He believes the contrast between Benavidez's youth and Canelo's experience makes the matchup difficult to predict, with Canelo's motivation likely playing a decisive role if the fight ever happens.
Don't know, it's a tough fight to call. You know, I mean, one of them is young and enthusiastic. The other is very experienced, and he's not such an old guy either, but he got a lot of fights behind him. So, you know, it'll depend on how socially involved both guys get. You know what I mean? If they, because it's a Mexican battle, how deep, how much can that bring out of Canelo? Will that bring the fire to Canelo that we want to see? Or will that make him get up because he defended his home country? What's going to happen? If he don't do that, then he won't beat Benavidez. But if that makes him get up to defend home, we'll see.
At the same time, Roy Jones Jr. believes Benavidez has consistently pursued a fight with Canelo. While acknowledging the matchup presents significant challenges, he suggests the delay has not come from Benavidez's side. For Jones, the lingering question is whether Canelo will ever decide the timing is right for the long-awaited showdown.
He's been asking for that for a long time. It ain't him that's been saying no. It's Canelo haven't really took it yet, but it's not David that said no. Canelo said he didn't want to fight another Mexican. David been chasing Canelo for years now. And it's a tough fight for him, tougher than people think. But, I mean, I think David definitely wants to fight. I just don't know. No, I think Canelo probably is waiting for the time or waiting for the right time. But I know David wants to fight. And
Timothy Bradley remains unconvinced, criticizing Canelo for continuing to avoid a fight with Benavidez despite years of public demand. He argues that the matchup has become more attainable than ever, making this the ideal opportunity to finally settle one of boxing's most debated rivalries. For Bradley, there is little justification for allowing the fight to remain unresolved.
Come on, bro. You ain't had the balls to get in there and fight no damn Benavidez. And I know, come on, Canelo fans. Come on, Canelo fans. Bring it, for real. No, you didn't have the balls to get in there and fight Benavidez. You know, but you're going to go to his fight, right? Come on, stop. And get in the ring with Benavidez. It's the perfect time now. He's already blown up to 200 and something pounds now. Now you bring him back down. Bring his ass back down to 168, Canelo, instead you want to fight.
Building on that point, Tim Bradley argues the long-awaited showdown should have happened years ago rather than remaining a topic of speculation. He believes certain legacy fights demand acceptance regardless of the risks involved, especially when a worthy challenger has established himself. For Bradley, avoiding those moments only leaves one of boxing's biggest questions unanswered.
Yeah, hell yeah. Canelo should have been done fought Benavidez. He should have been fought Benavidez, man. I don't understand. I really don't well, I do understand it. Canelo can't swallow that pride, man, and he can't. So some guys out there, and it kind of reminds me of Tank, right? they won't be able to deal with themselves if they lose to this certain guy, right? And it always has to be with the same damn race. It's like, come on, like, don't you want to pass the torch, right? So it's like, Canelo, Benavidez is probably the next guy up, but you know, you the old vet, don't you want to pass it? It's just like when De La Hoya fought against Chavez, and Chavez Senior passed the torch to De La Hoya. Yeah. You know, like, here, you know, I'm that guy, but you know what? Let's go. I'm older now. You know what? You beat me, you the next one on the throne.
Adding to that, Paolo Malignaggi views Benavidez as one of boxing's premier talents and believes the pursuit of a Canelo fight lingered longer than it should have. He argues that the continued patience ultimately led nowhere because the matchup was never a realistic outcome. For Malignaggi, Benavidez's decision to move forward finally closes the chapter on one of boxing's longest-running debates.
Listen, I think David is one of the best fighters in the whole sport.
Yeah, he is.
And I think they were trying to walk on eggshells, hoping that Canelo was going to give him a shot, you know. But, you know, in reality, you know, he was never going to give him a shot. So they were trying to be a little bit respectful in the way they called him out. Like, I would have just dogged him because I knew he was, again, once you know he's not going to fight you anyway, just embarrass the guy, you know what I mean? Just keep dogging him and call him out for what he is, you know? And, you know, at this point now, okay, he's not a champion, it's whatever. Benavidez has moved on, everybody's moved.
Looking beyond the Canelo discussion, Robert Garcia believes Benavidez has already outgrown many of the challenges in front of him. He points to several elite names still worth pursuing, but ultimately sees Benavidez as a fighter capable of testing himself against the heavyweight division. For Garcia, those opportunities represent the next stage of Benavidez's career rather than a return to unfinished business with Canelo.
Benavidez is the real deal, man. That motherfucker is a monster, bro. I think he's got a couple fights that I would love him to do. Maybe at that same weight, or maybe go down to fight Bivol and Beterbiev, and the other one is what that other cruiserweight that signed with Sufa.
Jai.
Apataya.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that fight could even be done now that he's with Sufa and what belts they're gonna fight for, whatever. I don't know. But those are three fights that I would like to see Benavidez take. But then after that, he's ready for the heavyweights, man. He's ready to fight Usyk.
Looking ahead to Benavidez's biggest challenges, Andre Durrell believes his overall skill set places him among boxing's elite. Even so, he argues there is still one technical aspect of Benavidez's game that could become increasingly important against top-level opponents. For Durrell, refining that detail may prove just as valuable as Benavidez's natural power and relentless pressure.
Damn, this boy get cold. He is full of energy, man. But he's technically flawed. David has no feet whatsoever. Period, point blank, man. And don't need him at this point. And once he gets in there with someone who's willing to use their feet, then he's going to see where he needs to capitalize with his feet. So, man, I refuse to pick. This is one of them ones I want to be right with, because if I had to pick, and I feel like I want to tell you, but I'm not going to do it, because all it takes is the right fight from either fighter, right? But David has a disadvantage, his feet, period, point blank. You know, Jai can go for 12 rounds that way. He just got to do it the right way.
With the Canelo debate showing no signs of being revived, all eyes now turn to what comes next for David Benavidez. Do you think Canelo made the right decision, or did boxing miss out on one of its biggest fights? And who should Benavidez face next if the Canelo chapter is truly over?